You are now listening to the sounds of Dr. B's Spot, a production of Bowden Enterprise Services, LLC. Join the podcast where love and life topics are discussed surrounding spiritual connection, relationships, finance, and becoming a better you through elevation. And now, here's your host, spiritual advisor and behavioral health clinician, Dr. B.
Welcome back to another session of Dr. B's Spot, Love and Life, the podcast where we talk about all things love, life, and spirituality. I am your host, your spiritualist, your intuitive healer, Dr. B. We are back in business and back in action. Thank you for joining me once again and listening to my content. It's always appreciated. As always, let's get to the point. Let's jump on in. This topic of today is called, Their Spells Can't Work Against Your Ordination. When I speak of being ordained, the context doesn't mean strictly a religious factor in a physical church building. It could apply to that, but I'm talking about your body being your temple. It is your own personal church that you are to protect. It's spiritual and it's sacred. We have been ordained by the Almighty to take care of our houses, meaning our body and the spirit. You were ordained from the womb, and upon birth was the ceremony. The celebration of life was being born. Being born was then conferred with the rights, privileges, and powers necessary for sacerdotal executions. This is what I mean. When born, there's a number of things that actually takes place. You are not just born and come equipped to be self-sufficient with everyday life knowings. You are at times given back to God through certain cultural and religious ceremonies, which takes place at different stages of age, which may be known as a christening or baptism when you're born, if you are of that faith. Then in the Jewish faith, there will be a bar mitzvah for boys or a bat mitzvah for girls at the age of 13. Then there are naming ceremonies in other certain cultures. For instance, Chinese do not name their babies until they are a month old. Then 100 days later, a naming ceremony will take place. During the waiting period, the child will be named a fictional name for protection against evil spirits. And then after the 100 days, the given name takes place during a ceremony. Isn't that powerful how they are not only physically, but spiritually protecting what's most precious to them? This makes me think of when I stated in one of my prior segments that as you make moves in life, like your goals, for instance, certain things are not supposed to be exposed because people knowing will try to send energy and disruption your way to stop it from coming to fruition. So you keep silent until you have completed the process. Many don't understand the depths of energy transference and mind manipulation. It can be extremely dominant if you're not protected by being equipped. So, as I was saying, you are named, you are nurtured, you are trained to the best ability that the person or people who have raised you to be. Then you begin to reach maturity. You take lessons learned. You begin to apply it to your life. Not only that, you begin to form your own thoughts, wants, desires, and patterns. The growth comes with wisdom as you keep living and as you keep growing, as you age. When you're ordained, you've stepped into a placement of being appointed to set things in order. You have been established by decree. Do you know how powerful that is? The Hebrew way is the ability to divide, separate, and destroy. Some may even say conquer, whichever you choose. Let's begin to break this down because I want you to understand your power when you're facing adversities against you. There's a calling upon your life that you cannot always see, but you know. Guess what? The first person to actually know of this is clearly the enemy. Why do you think the moment you begin to accelerate and make moves, you get monkeys on your back that are too heavy to carry? And as you're rising with those loads left and right, there are attachments that are continuously trying to linger by, holding on to you, because they don't want to miss what's in store for you. So they could benefit off of your greatness. Dead weight is a heavy burden to bear. Anything that is dead can't be revived, so continuing to carry it will only disintegrate you and your spirit. There are people out there who are under attack spiritually. It's called a spiritual attack, which can come in many forms such as illness, death, mind control, financial loss, goals, and an ambition killer, energy depleter, etc. For example, think about when you are excited to make moves on a process, then you shared that process before it becomes to fruition. Then all of a sudden, the goal never materialized at all. Now, you could have experienced lack of motivation and or execution. It depends on the company you keep. If you're not well equipped to deal with dark energies, their only mission is to destroy your come up. When I mention spells, it's not always someone in their kitchen cooking up herbs, lighting candles, offerings, taking objects and ordinances and burning incense and all that jazz, etc. Thoughts and words spoken over your life can either have positive or negative connotations. In season 1, episode 6, I spoke about watching your tongue. If you haven't heard it, I suggest you please check that out. Season 1, episode 6 of Dr. B Spot, Love and Life, the intuitive healer. The mind and tongue are very powerful on their own. Using those two things alone can heal, kill, or destroy. As long as you have those two things, you have one of the most powerful weapons ever, because it could be used for good or evil. The mind is a conjuring tool all by itself, and the tongue gives commands. It can literally have people swaying left and right, doing things they have no control over. Some things or some people are masters of confidence and with a commanding aura that can draw you in like a magnet and persuade you or crowds of many. They can even prey upon your weaknesses. That's how they enter your life. It's the presentation on how they show up to you. If you intermingle with certain forces that you are unequipped to handle, it can overtake you. So with people, forces, you have an insight into who you are, not only your strengths, but your weaknesses. Those forces have slipped through the door. They at times are used against you, or sometimes they even act like they are with you to help boost your ego and ride your wave. And then the moment you want to detach and redirect, because you recognize something is off, you recognize that they are trying to benefit off of you. They then remind you that it was them who was in your corner. It was them who helped you with your advances. It was them who stayed the long course when everyone else didn't believe in your dreams. Then you're brought back down to submission and they just toyed with your emotions. This is how they overtake and play with you. When you are spiritually in tuned, you are already prepared for attack and for battle and forever protected long as you stay in tune mentally, spiritually, and physically. The innate knowing is uncanny on how you will be able to detect, divide, and conquer situations that are coming your way. When you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. I'm reminded of Monique about that one. That was one of her lines, always. And it's a comedian, Monique, when your opponent, whether in the physical or spiritual realm, begins to attempt an attack, notice I say attempt. This is because they will not be successful at whatever it is they were trying to do or throw your way. When the darts come, you were moved before they had the chance to hit you. When the trigger was pulled and Russian roulette was played with your life, no bullets were ejected. Take these synonyms and apply it to the situation where they talked about your character and your behaviors to outsiders behind your back. Take this as they were jealous and envious of your blessings that God bestowed upon you, but they had no knowing on what you had to endure to be rewarded by the kingdom. The envy that they feel for you is because they want to be like you, but they wouldn't even have the work ethic and the endurance to walk in the same shoes as you, but they want the same rewards. It's interesting. They could never tarry the toll. Guess what? They would never even make it to the finish line. This is why their spells can't work against your ordination. You were called among many to be chosen for this journey on this ride of life. I cannot stress enough the meaning of silence, prayer, and meditation. It's the key to the sanctification of your mind and spirit and transformation within your body. If you want to understand elevation in your life, look at the most successful people, whether naughty or nice. They will tell you about their spiritual awakening, and they will tell you about the silence, which is the removal of those who don't or didn't mean them any good. You need silence to drown out the noise from the outside forces as well as the forces from within yourself. You want to experience white noise versus dark noise. Prayer is where you give up offering of your mind and body, spirit, where you'll give gratitude and thanks. And the blessings that go up begin to fall down upon you and around you. When you give grace and gratitude, your protection and blessings, they surround you. What you give out, you get back 100-fold. Meditation is needed because it's your release of conflicts within your everyday life. So you will release all the troubles during this period that has you bound. After you release your stress, your fears, your anxieties, you begin to switch to ask and declare your wants, your dreams, your desires. Things that you want to transition from spiritual and manifest in the natural. When your praises go up with true sincerity of your heart's desires, God shows mercy and favor because you were a man or a woman after God's own heart. This is the display of giving more sugar than you would get with salt. Your infinite blessings that are already promised to you begin to be released and poured upon you. Remember, as times get hard and you are pressed and feeling down and out, no matter the situation, no one can take what is yours. What is destined for you is for you. No matter the downfalls and letdowns, you have been ordained and chosen for greater on this ride. There's only a matter of time before the ride stops and the sun begins to shine and pour out onto you. Everything you desire is within reach. You just have to answer the call of your soul and let the spirit lead. Thank you for tuning in to Dr. B's Spot. I hope this message has reached you in a positive of notions. I'll catch you on the next episode. Be blessed with less stress. Much love, Dr. B, and I'm out.
Join us next time at Dr. B's Spot, where we dive into the real deal of love and life by tapping into your body, mind, and spirit. Don't forget to like, rate, and comment on each podcast that we drop. For all upcoming shows, reach Dr. B and all she has to offer on BowdenEnterprise.com and social media outlets under the moniker Bowden Enterprise Services. Peace and blessings to you and yours. We are out.